Hi, I'm Alan Chen, and I'm the owner of the Lightning Gravity Gaming Company, and I'm trying to make a YouTube tutorial on how to make your own range points collision as the object orientation 2D object in Game Maker. As the range points, like you can collision when it touches each other, what it looks like. So this test project, it's not really a video game yet. It's just one of the content they have to make in your own 2D video game. And I already made my own movements on um, object 1. This object 0, and object 1 is down here. This is all movements I already did, but I'll change my variable for my last video. Instead of WASD is just left arrow keys. And remember to have released it as well. So this is the kind of a really small basic algorithm. And just a reminder, there's no create another step thing, which is kind of looks like disadvantage a little bit. Because other video game software such as C Sharp, you can create as much C Sharp pages as you like, but this only allow one in Game Maker language, GML language. So it's a bit kind of disadvantage because step is one the while loop that is really needed the most instead of like using the individual as draw key. Those are different ones. Those are you can be limited to one, but step you should be limited to as much as you can. Just a normal code while loop, and this is the start one, which you don't need that much usually, but it's maybe better to have start create and step while loop to create as much as you can sometimes. Yeah, because I just realized that the alarm, draw, mouse, key down, and those gesture collision can be created all of them in step one code because these two are the most general broad coding stuff that you can do no matter what. And you might so far within this movement code, I have to be aware that this is only horizontal and vertical movements without any diagonal movements algorithm, the most basic algorithm. But it just have to be compulsion that like bounce back to false except for the every single time I press a new button immediately kind of really small algorithm, nothing to do with 3D artist programmer much. Yeah, but this is mostly 2D. um and this is what you have to do is you have to put all this start variables all to false in order to create start variable instead of step while loop, because because if you start with all false, it's still a while loop in step, which you just turn everything to false every single time when you run back up here instead, like down here, and copy and paste all this. It will just not move anything instead, because it keep on returning to false in every of this, when this is more inside of the scope down here. So this is if you put it down here, like all of this, copy like from Control C and Control V after. Um, this is more French, like French index. You can actually plus tab to index, Control to maybe not this, but you select all this and Shift Control, not Control. I mean tab to right side index and shift tab to go back to left index. So if it's more like left index, then this one will always be first in the while loop and it ignores the rest because it's considered always false. because of this scope is always more to right side index. So if it's always false, then it never moves. So it never was true. Yeah, this is if this is true, you don't have to write equal true every single time. We have to have equal equal. It means boolean equal. So that's the one of basic code I have to know. Uh, so um, so remember that this is really small. Um, uh, Object one, the object zero down here is non-sprite object that I created. Yeah, from here, object zero, that I can drag it down, object here down here, to draw this small object. And remember to lock it after you put it to always in middle center, depends what situation. But sometimes you have to remember you have to be bottom right, or depends which situation, like the full screen AI stuff that I taught before. So remember to middle center and lock it so it won't bounce it. So if I think like touch this side is all wrong position that by default orientations. So remember to put middle center, so lock it back, and then yeah. And I purposely put this zero object sprite to draw the object one at the center of the full screen. Right now this is the full screen by default. The newest Windows Microsoft screen that is a slightly bigger one, HD. Um, yeah, and then remember the inter this one same as name as this as instance create variable instance same as this layer naming in this room 0. This reminder object 1 in middle of the screen but divide by 2 every single time. I think yeah. So get Windows get width so it does get the right pixels every single time, and always put a center again same as here. And then basically I'm using not the range first yet. Well, you have to um this is the range part, but I'm gonna erase it with the commenting after with the star that can not just one line with double dash or triple dash as description down here commenting. But this is with a one dash with a star is this more like between and different lines. And then this is position meeting. Always use the API. So far, I'm using this all. Like check the keyboard position meeting. That this one is the most one. This one is the right one. That depends that matches which variables have to use. And movement is one of the other sections. And get width. So you can put the object one in the middle. This object one, and then I have to move this yeah, to check the position, the object one collision with object two correctly, but this one is no range, it's just only directly to the center. If you only this white piece, um, I think it's the full, I think it's the full 16 pixels collision down here hits the most center only at this pixels, not down here to here to here to here. So you see a difference that some other famous YouTubers and game maker sometimes they pretend they can make their own video games but they don't know how to hit from 64 bytes to 64 byte within height that basically because they don't know the basic math. This the basic math is this one, but I set it to prove it by it's true if the x of the object 2 down here is hitting the object 1 length by object 1 dot x plus the range of 128 pixels, which I can prove it by slightly larger than the 64 bytes. Maybe the first one because how they don't know how to make it, and all those game makers, and especially in AAA, they not don't know how the basic math much in the AAA game studio, video game studio. Yeah, so this is the range plus and boolean. This is the and symbol boolean, and after and symbol at the same time with the x and y section will affect it all together, will directly destroy the own interface, object2 interface, as you don't need to name this as object2, because if it in this instance destroy without any object named it down here, it means destroy self or this self or something like that. But not so far like this. But so far I'm gonna play the only by hitting 1 pixel. As someone else famous YouTuber video game maker may only hit this pixels, 1 pixel only at the center when you set it up to here. So without setting the full width from 62 by every single time, as they won't stop pretending. So when I play this, yeah, it won't go through range, it's only about 1 pixel. So I have already controlled by movement, as I say so. So I can't go diagonal because I set up the algorithm of movement. No matter what, how crazy I go, but I'm sorry if you press it both at different timing. So I'm trying to hit it without the center pixel of the object 2 red thing. So you see that I won't really hit it um, until I hit the center one. See, it goes through it. But if I go through the center, as you see, it looks about to go through the center, it will destroy it. So it must be kind of like this algorithm that I already tested before. That was not real. That is real. My one is real instead of theirs because that's how much liars they are. As obvious they are. Like that's what they always do. Yeah. So this is what it looks like, but remember, this X does not need to be naming themselves as object 2 instead, or receiving called time with a period that directs to the self object 2 to instead of object 1 kind of thing. But you don't have to name like this because your default by this is object 2 already here. So it's kind of like this instead. That's what they call it. But it just doesn't need to name this because this one's not Java coding. So you can just name yourself X because it's directly naming using the object 2 instead. And this is object 1, so always greater than the pixels of the object um 1x by that much farther and 60 instead of 64 bytes, so that I can prove it to you before touching the red object, even if I can make any range or delay like, but it can be sometimes lesser by minusing it back and sometimes adding it back. As it's supposed to equals to not like as it's supposed to equals to 68 um because this is positive and this is minus um 28. It's supposed to equal to absolute. Wait, I think it's yeah. It's supposed to equal to like a range of absolute or something. This is super absolute, but it can be also or kind of thingy, and I think that's the or. This is supposed to be the or instead of and stuff, but I think I can change it. Yeah, absolute that was always positive variable of adding this both this is should be 652 or something. Um yeah, pixel px as the really real range is supposed to be as positive and negative equals to this much range. But I'm not sure this absolute symbol because I don't quite remember unless it was a one dash instead because I can't remember. I think it was one dash. Or else the two dash would be the or symbol for coding, but that's why I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's one dash in there. Yeah, it's supposed to absolute equals to always positive because it's considered as counting range, not considered zero. It's just the one of basic math you have to learn on range systems. So the really real length of like down here is this is the point, and then this is minus 128 plus 128 equals to range of both is equal to 256. Um, so I was going to play this one by opening up the brackets, but don't count this as absolute symbol. I kind of forgot how to what the absolute symbol looks like. Uh, yeah. So when I click play, it should works in the end with the 256 pixels from length and height, x and y axis. So yeah, so you can go a bit farther, like diagonal-ish. Uh, yeah, then we deleted it. Yeah, with that insane long width and height kind of thing, because I can change the width. Yeah, and you can make it as properly as you can, but it's supposed to be 32, I guess. Um, as it works properly in the end. So 32. Yeah, as I can prove that it's absolute what it looks like. Yeah, so always 32 positives and negative. Yeah, it's not really adding or subtraction, just making range of like stuff instead. Like yeah, see, it's not really the same as before. It's just touching it kind of thing. Yeah, wait. That's the thing I missed. I just rate the width a little bit. Oh, I'm not sure why. It just missed it. It seems like a little bit. Let me play again. Maybe it just took a bit too long to destroy it. Huh. Don't know why it doesn't look exactly the same. 32 byte. Oh well, but at least it's a bit close, I guess. I'm gonna try this one. As you remember, destroy two objects, destroying without, as you remember, without naming anything as object 2, it means destroying itself as this one or something. As naming as this in Java coding. Oh, I already clicked play already. So I think it's a bit. Yeah, it's a bit too close now. Unless I was wrong, well, at least it's something near like that. So maybe at the end this is wrong, but at least it's close. Well, you have to keep in mind what that does. So maybe just put it back as kind of default. It's around. At least I proved their range algorithm looks like. At least it seems like it working. Um, yeah, at least it seems like it's working. But at least maybe this is not really a pixels instead of like what I thought it would be, like what is shown down here, but just some kind of other numbers. Yeah, so different than I thought somehow. So at least I proved my point. At least I can get the range, but I can adjust yourself which pixels, like if you play test back and forth while recording again, and right until you meet the right kind of seems like pixels number, which is not really pixels number. And then I guess I just have find out and learn my lessons. Instead of always playing with this one, pretending that you only like can make a video game, you only hit down the center every single one pixel every single time in a one video game, which can be not that decent if you're trying to make it into a triple A video game studio. So I guess I proved my point right now. So this is how it works instead. And I'm trying to make my own other video game so far. It's more like a kind of a Pokemon game that going on a mission or something. That's what I'm planning to make, but not like capturing a monster yet because that is a lot of drawings and I have to make sure my skill sets are always good enough. and I have to make sure my movement is square, like a more like a Pokemon grid perfectly instead of just moving horizontally and vertically. No, vertically, horizontally, and vertically, yeah, yeah, without diagonal thing. Error that can jam your own player character in a corner by accident before chopping a tree or something like those. So that's what I'm planning. But I have to um perfectly timing measurements while going through grids and stuff like that. That's why my new weekend I'm planning to do at least that content with maybe some kind of mission to maybe save up more like good side of people and maybe like some kind of like saving people and using real life learning skills as like trying to found some treasure through maps of some sort with a key, finding a lost key object or something or like those. Yeah, so yeah, yeah, I think I'm done my YouTube tutorial, so thank you.